This one we'll talk about the recycler view. This one is a little bit advanced, but it's also very important in the Android app development to know how we can use the very efficient and it's not easy but efficient way to use recycler view to list items that we have instead of using list view. We already done that one before and also in the challenge, but list view need to initialize all our data and also takes a lot of data storage and also a lot of attribute to be defined if you have a bunch of statements. So instead of doing that, we use recycler view, and the contents that I'm going to talk is how it mean recycler view by itself and the components that we have to use inside recycler view, and also we'll get into the implementation part if you have enough time. So by itself, recycler view is a scrollable container for the large data sets. So it's also efficient. We don't need to initialize all your data what you have. Instead, what the recycler view do is just you create a sample of the view that you want. Maybe you may display a text here. So you only need to create a text view, and you just use that text view in the recycling way. So it will just use and reuse that limited number of view instead of creating a bunch of views for each data what we have. Since by itself recycler view will update this data weight change, and it's very fast than the list view and other. So it will not just go through all our data what we have. It is just use and reuse that what you already have instead of scrolling those all we have. And it's sort of very efficient way. And the implementation is a little bit complex. So, and the components what we have in recycler view, we have a data part that we want to be recycled. And the next one, we also have to create the recycler view itself so that we will score the list of items. And the next one, we need to have a layout, right? So layout that contains the one item of the data. We don't need to create the layout for each item. So instead, we create some sample of layout for just one single row. And once we're done with this, we need a layout manager, right? So that to handle these UI components within our view. So we use a layout manager. We do have actually many layout manager. We can have, if you are going to use a recycler view, we have a layout manager called recycler view.layout manager. And this one depends on the view what we use. So if you are using the layout of, let's say, list view, we have a layout manager called list view layout manager. If you are using a grid view, you have also grid view layout manager. So we do have a layout manager for each of our view, and you have to go into implement that one to handle these UI components. After that, there is adapter called adapter is adapter used to connect our data with our specific view. So here we are using recycler view. It will connect our data with the recycler view. So for this, we have an adapter class called recycler view.adapter. And we also need to create a view holder so that it will show us this information what we have and to display this one item of our view. So these are the components that we're going to use in our implementation of recycler view. So here, the concept of just the recycler view by itself. We do have activity here, and inside our activity, we will create a recycler view, and this recycler view will need to have a layout manager since we are using this. Maybe if you are using list view, we do have a list view manager and different type of manager based on the layout we use. If you are using grid view, we will have grid view layout manager. And inside this layout manager, we need to use the adapter class, what we have created. So we need to create an adapter class. Here we just say, we do have a word list adapter. We created this class. And by itself, adapter means, let's say we have a memory card. So if we have a data in our memory card, and if you want to access that data from our computer, we can't just access it from our computer directly from that memory card. Instead, we use what? We use a memory reader, right? So we use memory reader to connect that specific memory card with our computer. and we can easily access the data which found in our memory card. So adapter is something like that memory reader. So it just helps us to connect the memory card with our computer so that we can access the data which found inside the memory card. So let's say here we do have a data item. So we have a data and we can't access the data directly to our to the adapter or to our the activity what we want to our layout manager here. So instead we use this adapter class, and inside the adapter class we handle this specific data and we attach it with our this class. Let's say word list adapter here, and we use this view holder to access it in our activity or this layout manager. So this is the components overview. And so I already talked about what means layout manager. So each view group has its own layout manager, and we use that one to use this one to position the different view items inside our recycler view. And it then what the recycler view uses, it reuses these view items and it also make that one invisible and then make another list of items to be appear. So it is something like just scroll, when you scroll down and delete the data what we have and scroll another data on it. So they use the view items that are no longer visible to the user. And we do have a bunch of another layout managers. For linear layout, we use a linear layout manager. For grid layout, we use grid layout manager. And for something staggered layout is something called, it's the same as grid layout, but this one we don't have any dimension. We do have like column and row, but that column and row, we don't have space. We don't need to specify some dimension. So that's what means staggered grid layout manager. So we use such kind of layout manager in our activity. And there's a concept of adapter, right? So I already talked about what means adapter. Also, you can take an example to understand adapter. If you are familiar with the database, there is a thing called cursor, right? So that we prepare and we do many bunch of things inside our cursor object. And once we are done, so we want to, it's also ready to visible inside our view. So it's something like intermediary between the data and the view. And it's managed. So inside this adapter, we just manage those creating, updating, adding, deleting, and different view items as underlying the data change. So those all tasks will be done inside this adapter class. So we're going to extend to this recycler view.adapter inside the class where we created to be set as an adapter. Okay, the view holder is also we have to create this view holder inside our adapter. It's used by that specific adapter to prepare one view with the data for one list item. So we have many sets of data. So we have to specify one list view for a specific one view. So we do that inside our adapter class. Once we are done, we just specify also this XML resource file inside our view holder class. And also we use, if you want, you can implement the handler like unclickable elements for specific these items. And it also can be replaced by layout manager. So we also use to extend to this recycler view holder. Okay, so the implementation of recycler view is already talked. The first step is to actually, recycler view is not come up with the standard SDK what we already have. I mean the standard software development kit. So instead, it is, I think, it come up with the Android API version of 21. So we need to have add that dependency to our build.GRADLE. So it may not be needed if you already have it inside your SDK. So if you don't, you need to add that dependency, this recycler view dependency in your build.GRADLE module. And the next one, where you need to create the recycler view inside your layouts. So you need to, once you add the dependency, you are able to access that specific recycler view so that you can create a layout of that. And once we're done, we need to create the XML layout for each item that we have inside our, maybe you can create one layout separately and you list your items there. And once we are done with this, we need to create an adapter class so that we can attach our data, and also we need to also implement this view holder class inside this adapter class. And once we are done with this, we get inside our main activity of onCreate method. We need to create this recycler view with the adapter and layout manager we have. So we have to set that specific adapter what we have. We need to create this adapter, and we set that adapter with the recycler view we created inside this layout. And then we also specify the layout manager, what kind of layout manager we want to use, linear layout, grid layout, or any other layout manager. So this is the way to implement, to add the recycler view dependency in your build.gradle if needed. So if you don't already have with your SDK, you may not need this one. So this is I think this one is the older version. So it also uses the keyword called compile. So instead now the recent version we use implementation here. And also the version, this one, I think it's too old. So you can search for the new version of recycler view, and you can add it into your build.gradle module. I think this one is better if you go through the practice part instead of concept, maybe a little bit hard to understand. So let me switch it to our Android Studio and go through the practice, and I think you will understand that one better than this, since the implementation of this recycler view is tough. So let's have this. Instead of doing recycler view on this, I think it's better if you create another project here. Let's have a new project. Go with the MPT one, and we select the what we call like basics, right? Basics app. And we select with the default one here what we have. And let's go finish. And let's close this one. After this one will open. We don't need this one anymore. Okay, let's wait the build finished. Start this directory order for us once the building process will finish. Okay, now it's easy here. The folder directory, the hierarchy of the folder is easy to now to navigate in between each directory. Okay, now the first thing is to add the dependency, right? So to add the dependency, you can go to this directory build.gradle module, so that you can specify the dependency, whatever you want to implement. Here we want to have a recycler view, right? So you go through this and use the keyword called implementation. And I don't know what version of the Android, the recycler view what I currently have, but I also can add that one, go through this file and go through project structure. And I can select this one, dependency, and I can select to add this one, I think, and dependency, library dependency. And I can search it here, recycler. I can find it here. If I don't, I can use it on Google maybe. Recycler view. Also, I can search it from Google maybe. Recycler view dependency. I think I can get it from here. So here we do have dependency for our recycler view. I think the latest version, I can use any version of the recycler view, but I can go with this one maybe. It's July 2020, so it's okay. I can use this one. I can select this one, cancel, and I can go with implementation. and put it inside the string, and I can go to put this specific recycler view. Once we are done with this, we can go to the sync icon here. So it will sync us for us. It will synchronize this our additional library so that we can easily access it in our layout file. So go and sync now, and let's wait until it's finished. It's done now, so we can easily access the recycler view inside our layout or any other place. So the next thing is we go to the activity main and code, and let's change it to this one, to relative layout. And then it's better to use this one. We don't need this one too. And we can check it to this one to, maybe we can say some title, cycler view, set the title. Oh, we already said that one. So we, what's the ID? Title. And we can give the center horizontal. I think it's better if you split this one to the design and code so that we can easily access it. You can see, and you can give the margin from top and something 20 degree, and also you can play the size plus TSP. Okay, now let's create our recycler view here. So we go with recycler. Yeah, here we can now get the recycler view. You can now give the layout width and height. So I can use the width of match parent, and I can use the height of the same match parent. So since we don't have any other data to be put inside. And also now we need to close it. And inside this, now you can here see the list of items will appear here. So we can now set the ID for this by calling recycler view. And the next one, we can use padding or something related thing to, we can say the center maybe. I don't think it's needed to use a center horizontal. And instead, what else we have to use? Below, right? Below of ID of title. Now we are ready. So our list view will appear here. And the next thing, we can set the padding from top. And we can give something about maybe 20, maybe SP. Yeah. Okay, so once we're done, what's left here to initialize? Maybe I think it's enough here. So now we can continue with our data, what we have. So let's recycle in the data that have something profile of WhatsApp or any social media app. We do have a profile image, and next to that we do have our name and our status, right? So let's create a resource file here to initialize those all our data, and we can use that by let's first create the resource file. So we switch this one and go to the main and create the new and layout resource. We can name it this one to the data we want to implement here, maybe some row layout. And we just go with the, okay, we can select the directory where we want to put it. Instead, I will continue with the default one. Okay, now inside this layout, what we want to do is to, I'll continue with the relative layout over here. And what we want to appear inside this layout is to have an image view. And with the image view, we can say something fixed so that it will just take the instead of using math parent or wrap content, since we may have image of different size. So it's better if you use the same width and height. So let's say 100 dp, and we also continue with 100 dp. And you can close it. And now the image icon will appear here, but we also can set an ID of image, and we can continue with what else we need. We can also give the source for now, since it will appear empty box. So we can give a sort of our image. Let's say we have at map of the launcher icon what we have. So here you can appear the icon of our image. And next to this, what else we want? We can also use call what we can use fit xy, so that it will appear I think scale type, right? So scale type, maybe, yeah, and fit xy, and this one will take all the space what we have here. And what's left here, I think we are done. And the next thing we want to have is the title and the detail here. So maybe the name and the status of that specific user. So the next here, we want to have text view. And with this text view, what we want to, the width, maybe wrap content, and the height, maybe also the same wrap content, so instead of taking the whole space. So inside this text view, let's give a sample text for just initializing. And you can say something text view. And we can give the ID for our text view. And we can say text1, so that it will appear at the, now it will appear at the very top. So since we are using relative layout, we have to set this layout, this text view on the right side of our image view. So what we have to do is to the right of, I think there is an attribute called to the right of image, right? So image. Now it will appear at the right side of the image here. And the next thing that we can do is, so you can say at the end of the, and maybe do it at the end of align parent, align parent, it is to end of. So you can say that one. When that one will be ended, this one will be followed next, and we can set the margin so that it will be easy to be seen by other view. So we can set that one to margin left. Let's say left. So we can get margin left. So what the other accessible things here? Margin top. Okay, let's say margin. So we can get margin left here. And margin left, you can see it's margin left like 20 dp. And we can give margin start to the same 20 dp. And I give it the margin maybe from the top to about 10 dp. I think it's now cool. Okay. So what left here to give, you can also give the size of our text. Text size maybe about 25 sv. A bit wider, and I think we are done here. And the next one we want to have is a description for this specific text. So we have a profile, and we have a name, and we do have a description for that specific text. Let's say this one text2. So we can name it text2, and it will now override our text what we have before. So instead, what we have to do is we just say this one to, instead of to the right of, we use align left off. I think, yeah, align left. and we give this one to our text one before. And once these are left, we'll go with the align right and align starting, align in the same ID with our text one. And now it will override our text before what we have, and now the only thing that here we need to add it below. So it will take the, now here the text size, maybe we can make it smaller, about 1.5. Here we do have a profile image, and next to the name of this profile and the user of this, the user with this profile name, and we can name it that one. And I think what's left to name, maybe the size we already give it, the ID we already give it, and below we already set it, and we may not need this one since we already give that one from this. So okay, so this is our just the one we want to recycle this data. So we want to recycle this data inside our recycler view. So let's create our data. Let's create the string file of this data so that we can use this 3 view in our recycler view, and we'll pop up this all data what we have. So to do that, that's the first thing is we go to the string XML, and we can create different data here inside this string XML. So we can just go here and we can name it our string and name it to maybe name, and we can close this string, and inside this string we can have different items. So we can have a multiple item, and then we can name the different things like let's name some students name here from our group all, and let's copy this one and use it. Okay. I think we can change it to this one. And I can name it whatever, like who else we have. And I can name it so we'll recycle these all people with their profile picture and their detailed data. And then I can also copy them back instead of searching the so like I'll use the same name here instead. So let's remove some of the data what we have here, and we'll continue with the other detail names, like, and instead of name, maybe we can create the description. So we will have all these from School of Information, School of Computer Science, School of Information Engineering. School of Information Technology, I think. So I can copy. So now we do have this person's name with the data, and the next thing we need to declare is, I think we are done. Instead of using this as a string, I prefer to use string arrays. Yeah, we better use string array so that we can fetch with the specific index. Okay, once we are done with this, now we have to go to our main activity, and we will get the specific recycler view what we have. Also, we will set the image. We will initialize the image for each of these students with the profile. So we want to that one to appear the profile of this each student to be here. So let's go to our main activity, and we just need to create an object of recycler view, and let's say this one to R. And once we have this, also we need to the string, right? So the string of array. So we have the string for the student's name. Let's say S1 of array, and we also need to S2 for the description list. And once we are done with this initialization, we also need the profile, right? So we can say we need to. I also prepared an image. So these are the image that I want to use as a profile picture. So the thing that I have to do is I just copy this old image what I have and go to our recycle this resource folder. And inside this resource folder, what I can do is I just right click and I can paste it here so that it will paste all the images what I have. So these are the images that I want to use. So they are cool, and I have to initialize this image inside this also. So I already have a string, and I already defined the recycler view object. So let's have an image of this resource directory will be stored like int with image, let's say image resource. So let's say image resource resource. So we have an array, this one also to be array. So since we have multiple data that we have, and we can set those images inside this. So we can call r.drawable dot we have t1 t, and just copy this thing we have comma here and copy this, and now we are copy this. I don't know how many of data what we have here. Data 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I need to implement about 12 images here. So I think the images are like 2 and 3, 4, I think 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 and 12. So you can see the icon will appear on this. I think some of the icons will not appear, so we can change it to another image like 13. And this one to 15 if there is, and this one to maybe 14. Yeah, so now our images are ready, and the resource file we already have. And the next thing is to access those resources what we have. We already get the image here. So the next thing is to access these resources what we have in our resource in our string example. So to do that, the way is here. Also, we can find the ID of this specific recycler view, which found in our activity resource file. So to do that, we just need to go r is equal to find view by ID and r.id dot recycler view. Yeah, and we will use this one later. But for now, let's get the data what we have we created inside the string file. So to do that, just go to S1 and get resource. and we pass to get what resource we have there. We have string array. So we have string array, we call it by array inside dot array, and inside the name that we named for our array is name, right? And this one we get the name list of this specific name of this student, and the next one is copy this one and give the description for the students, and we name this one to S2. I think we will not have enough time to cover this one. I think it's better if you stop it here and we'll continue to implementation with the adapter class and how we implement the view holder for this data, and you recycle in between these different users with their profile and their name and description. So we'll finish this part tomorrow, the same like we did today. We did the implementation part of auction menu today, so we'll go this implementation tomorrow. We'll continue on it. So since we will not have enough time to cover all, now we have only 10 minutes left. If you have any questions so far, you can also ask, and we will stop here. Thank you.